Welcome back. We are doing Biology 440 Lab, Chapter 5 Microscopy, and this would be Part 3. We're gonna explore how to make a wet mount, which we'll be doing using Elodea leaf and pond water, and then also be taking a look at some of the photomicrographs of some of the specimens we'll be looking at during the microscopy lab. All right, so first of all, we're going to talk about how to make a wet mount. So we need a clean microscope slide. So I want to make sure that I get any grease or dirt off of it using a chem wipe. And something that might help, especially when we're first learning how to use our microscopes, is to use a grease pencil and make a circle on the top of the slide where you'll put your specimen. And the advantage of this is the grease pencil line, it will give you a nice obvious image to focus on to make sure you're on the right plane of focus. Using our microscopes, the way we described how we're going to focus by lowering the stage, one problem is that the bottom of the slide will come into focus first, and if there's dirt on the bottom, sometimes folks spend a lot of time looking at the dirt on the bottom of the slide. So by putting a heavy mark on the top of the slide, we make sure that we will continue to lower the stage until the top of the microscope slide comes into focus. So we'll make sure we're in the right plane of focus. So what I'm going to do then is, it turns out we don't actually have any Elodea leaf, the aquarium aquatic plant. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to make a wet mount, I'm just going to use some pond water that we brought in, and I'm just going to use my pasture pipette, and I'm just going to put a drop of pond water on the top of my slide. And next what I'll do is I'll get a glass cover slip. Now these glass cover slips, be careful folks, because they can act like little razors. So if you hold them too tightly in your hand, they can actually cut into your skin. Now to make the wet mount, what we're simply going to do is hold the cover slip at about a 45-degree angle over our drop of pond water, or in our lab, the Elodea leaf, and we're just going to let it drop down. Now some folks talk about how you don't want air bubbles in your wet mount, but sometimes the edge of the air bubble is a nice place to focus, to make sure you're in the right plane of focus. But here we have our wet mount. So we would simply put this on the microscope, starting with our scanning lens. We'd get it into focus, then move up to 10x and then 40x. Probably in our first microscopy lab, we won't be using the oil immersion lens. But the Elodea leaf is going to be so large, it'll be easy to see the individual cells. And very importantly, we're going to have you look at the chloroplasts. And we're going to use the chloroplasts as a way to introduce you to the endosymbiotic theory, which you'll hear over and over again in microbiology.